What's going on, everybody? Sean Killing 90 here, and today's stream is going to be a bit different. We're not going to be playing any games. We're just going to be kind of hanging out for a little bit, doing like Q&A. As long as your questions are reasonable and, not too personal or too extreme, I will be answering them. You can ask me anything about games, myself, like I said, as long as they're not too personal. Talk about random things, just relaxing stuff. And the reason that we're not playing the game today, the reason we're not playing Bioshock 2 today, is at work today, me and Daryl, one of my coworkers, we were working on something. The machine shifted its weight, and when it did that, my hand was kind of caught in it a little bit. And so, if you look at your hand, where the thumb comes down and joins it to the hand, all that meaty section right there, yeah, that's a bit fucked up on my hand right now. I had to go and get some stitches put into it and whatnot, and so holding a controller or trying to move my hand much to do anything with the keyboard, not a pleasant feeling. So I'm just gonna kind of relax, sit back in the chair, talk to you guys, spend a little personal time with you guys, and then that way, I'm still streaming today like I said I would, but, giving my hand a break. As far as streaming goes, like I said, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays would be my main streaming days. As far as Monday or Wednesday and Thursday go, I think what I might try to do, because I have a Android emulator on my computer. That way I can, there's games that I play on my phone, but, sometimes my phone's got a charge, or if I'm at home, why not play it on the big screen? So I've got an emulator, and that way I can play my mobile games on the computer. So I'm thinking Wednesday or Thursday, this is where it really comes into play for you guys to make sure you're following me on Twitter. My Twitter is SeanKiller90, just as it is here. And what I'm going to be looking for is kind of like ideas for mobile games, something that's not too complicated, more of like maybe like mouse and click, stuff like that. That way I can still use my right hand to play games and do stuff with you, but my left hand, like I said, it's kind of on the bench right now. It's taking a break. And then that way I can still stream and hang out with you guys, but for now BioShock 2's on hold because unfortunately shit happens. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. That's why we're not going to be playing Bioshock 2 today. So if you're here for Bioshock 2, I hope that you continue to hang out with me and whatnot. But unfortunately, we're not going to be playing that today. First question that I see is, do I have a pet? I currently don't. The reason for that is just between my girlfriend and I schedule. Our work, well, my work is pretty steady, but hers is all over the place, and I'm the kind of person that if you have a pet, you should be there to take care of it, not constantly be away from it, leaving it on its own, stuff like that. Or if you're taking vacations, make sure it's an animal that you can take with you and have fun with and stuff, not just pawn it off on someone else to, take care of while you're on vacation. No point in that. But if I did have a pet, it would be a dog. It'd be a German Shepherd. It's what I grew up with. I absolutely love them. They're loyal, fun to play with, and stuff like that. Ouch, had something similar happen to me when I was younger. Yeah, Miss Knife, what can you do? What can you do? What was your first video game console? My personal, one that I owned that was mine, it wasn't for me and my sister or anything like that, would probably be the Sega handheld. The huge ass Sega handheld. If you remember that thing, that makes today's handhelds like Nintendo DS stuff like that look so small. But as far as actual gaming consoles, the first one that me and my sister ever had was the Atari 2600, then the Nintendo, then the Super Nintendo, then the Sega Saturn, It was either the Sega Saturn and then the Sega Genesis, or the Sega Genesis and then the Sega Saturn. And then after that was Nintendo 64. And then while I was in the military, I had the original Xbox, PlayStation 1, and PlayStation 2. But then my focus more shifted to computers at that point, so I don't actually have any consoles now. Because I just like PC gaming. You know, it's my preference. It's not that I hate on consoles or anything like that. It's just I prefer PC. It's just my choice. So yeah. Do you have giveaway? What is giveaway? Do you mean like giveaway? I'm not sure what giveaway is. Bloopy. What is that? Why did I join the military? That's a good question. I joined it because in some countries it's mandatory, but in the U.S. it's not. And it was kind of like a feeling of, how can I pay back the country that, I grew up in and stuff like that? Because I don't want to be president, because there's too much political bullshit. I don't like politics. How about being a senator or something like that? Once again, politics, no. Being a doctor or something like that, something to give back to the community, not really that, steady of a hand. Like, I have good memory and things like that, but as far as like precision stuff like that, my hands don't have the ability to be as steady as they need to be for like a doctor. Nurse, respectable, but not my cup of tea to clean up other people's shit and stuff. But in general, like, jobs like that, things that really, play a role in society and stuff like that, wasn't really my kind of thing. But being in the military, you're actively protecting people and putting your life on line. And, I feel that that's a really big thing, to do, to put your life on the line for someone else's sake to live, enjoy their freedom, and enjoy the rights that they have. So that was why I joined the military. Like I said, my mom, she was a Marine. My dad was Surface Navy. My uncle and my stepsister were both Army. And, it was always taught to me that, don't join it just because the family did it. Join it because it's something you really want to do. And, that's why I joined it. It was something that I wanted to do. It was an experience. I got to see different parts of the world I would never see any other way. Got to meet people across the world, just like playing online. You meet people across the world when you go places, and that was always really cool. And then, like I said, the main thing was, knowing that I sacrificed part of my life and put my life on the line to protect others. So that's a huge, like, I don't know if I'd call it emotional, but it's a huge thing to see or to know that you did that for somebody, A giveaway, you give like, are you talking about like like GIFs, like motion things, or you like animation stuff? Or are you talking about like giveaway, like GIVE, like giveaway prizes? If you're talking about like doing like giveaways, like games or stuff like that, I've thought about it. But at the moment with the channel still growing and we're still, the Kill Squad is not that big yet. I don't want to do giveaways to make the channel grow. I want to do giveaways because my fellow Kill Squad members is how I treat you guys. I want them to be here because they want to be here. Not, I've seen it happen on other channels and stuff like that where people do giveaways and the only reason people are on their channel is for a chance of a giveaway. And, I don't want those kind of people. Like, while I want my channel to grow, I don't want people that are only around for video or for giveaways and stuff like that and free prizes. In time it'll happen where I do giveaways, but it'll be, because I have such a great community at that time that I want to try and figure out a way to give back, whether it's with games or Steam cards or Amazon cards, stuff like that. And so for now, I'm not going to be doing giveaways. Like, it's something I took time to really think about, and that was the decision I came to. Favorite genre of film and video game. That is something I can't really narrow down to a single genre or anything. It's just like music. When it comes to music or movies or video games, I play games from tons of different genres. Like, if you looked at my music playlist that I keep on my phone and my computer, you'll see stuff from the U.S., you'll see some from Japan. As much as I hate to say it, thanks to my girlfriend, there's even some K-pop that is actually really awesome sounding. Uh, so I listen to things whether it's foreign and domestic. I listen to rock, country, alternative rock, classic. Um, while though it's very little, there is some classical. Like if you ever watched the movie 300 or Gladiator, that kind of style of classical where it's more up tempo and things like that. I can tolerate to listen to. The only genre that I cannot stand, and it doesn't suit me. Like I'm not saying it's bad, and they're definitely talented for what they can do. Is opera. Um, Personally, I just listening to just opera to me it's it doesn't really do anything for me. But almost every other genre you could think of, I probably have some music that fits it on my computer or my phone. So, and the same with games. Like I play racing games, first person shooters. I've played real time strategies, MMOs, except for World of Warcraft or League of Legends. Both of those games I have no interest in. Um, so yeah, but pretty much I'm open minded. I'm the kind of person that likes to experience as many things as I can, whether it's music, games, movies, going out and doing things for the first time. Which leads me to like a completely random fact. I have bungee jumped. I've skydived. I've gone deep sea fishing, snorkeling, stuff like that. Like I've done a bunch of things that I had a blast doing, but they're not things that I'm going to continue to do. They were just for the experience to say that I've done that. I've gone out there and done things that were outside of my comfort zone and had a lot of fun with them. So, I just like I said, I enjoy everything. I'm pretty open minded when it comes to different things. I do watch horror movies, indeed. My girlfriend loves and hates horror movies. Usually, when we watch one, she'll watch it for the most part, but there are, like the jump scares and stuff. They will scare the hell out of her, and I'll just kind of like look over at her and go, "Really?" So I watch them, but I'll usually watch them with her just for the kick of watching her get scared. What was your favorite game and film of 2016? Damn, that's a broad question because there was a lot of movies and games in 2016, and there's only a handful of games in 2016 that were, really good in my opinion. There was a lot of games that were good, but they're not memorable. And same goes with film. I'd have to think about that one. Let me pull up on my computer the movie list that me and my girlfriend have saved onto the network. See if there's one that I can find that really stood out as a lot of fun. And then while I'm doing that, let me do a quick search. Chicken peck for the win. You've heard how fast I normally type, and now I'm having the chicken peck. Fun times. It feels so weird to chicken peck. There we go. That's a good one. A good 2016 movie was Deadpool because it had action, comedy, stuff like that. It was overall like visually stunning, great CGI work. The story wasn't too bad. There was comedy. There was serious kind of action scenes. So it was definitely, I'd say that's probably one of my favorite movies. And I know it's a popular movie and stuff, but what can I say? I grew up watching Deadpool and Spider-Man, the X-Men, all different kind of shows. So I'd say I'd lean on that one as far as film goes. But game wise, there's really too many games to try and think of one off the top of my head. Because I did play a lot in 2016. Um, Rainbow Six Siege, I played that for a while. I think, did that come out in 2015 or 2016 early? I can't remember what if that came out in 2015 or 2016. But I definitely played that for a while. The only reason I don't play it now is because I kind of got burned out. I played it too much, which is one reason I like to play so many different games and stuff. Is that way I don't get burned out on a video game and then I don't play it like Gary's Mod or Rainbow Six Siege or other games. You play it to the point where you're just tired of it because you've put so many hours into it. What got me into video games? Well, you can't say graphics because back when I first started playing games, the graphics were very minimal. I think it was the creative nature of video games. Uh, the stories and reading a book. Like if you have a lot of imagination, when you read a really good book, you can picture everything that's going on and see the story unfold in your head as you're reading it, and that's really awesome. But with games, they have the benefit of if they have a good story, then you can enjoy the story and you actually get to see the way it's actually being told by someone else. It's the difference between a good video game and a good video game sent to theaters and it's absolutely broken all to hell and it's utter shit because you see it the way that the original person wanted you to see it instead of it being what someone else turned it into. So I'd say that's one of the big things that got me into gaming. And then also another reason I got into video games was for competitiveness. Like I'm competitive at a lot of things, and when it comes to like multiplayer games or just trying to beat a game before my friend beat it, when we were younger, things like that. That's the reasons I'd say I got into video gaming. What was the first gory game you played? With semi newer graphics, I would say it has to be Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat, because it did set the standard for gore and game ratings and stuff like that. I mean, there were other games I know I can't think of the names off the top of my head that I played that were considered gory at the time by today's standards. They're not. But Mortal Kombat would probably have to be the first one that I know for a fact was a gory game. Favorite color? That is going to be an easy one. That ever since I was a kid, my favorite color is a dark royal or midnight blue. Like, if I could, afford it and get like a really nice car and do a custom paint job on it, it would definitely be like a dark midnight blue or something like that. Ooh, what about let's see here. Sorry, I was looking at something else on a different screen real quick. Honestly, um, I haven't really, looked into E3 2017 yet. I haven't really put much thought into it either, because I just honestly haven't had time to. Like I've seen like some game trailers and stuff like that in passing that I was kind of interested in off the little bit I saw, but as far as like the actual E3 event for consoles or games, stuff like that, I'm not 100% sure. Welcome back there, Grin. So, what I'll probably do for E3 is I'll actually like read up on it as it's happening, as people post things about it, and read articles and stuff there. But as far as like um actively learning about it ahead of time, It's not really my thing, I guess. And plus, like I said, with time and stuff, I just, don't really have a priority on it. Do I think Half Life 3 will ever happen? I think if it happens at this point, either two things are going to happen. One, it's going to be fan made and it's going to be alright. Like, it's going to be decent enough to close off the story and put an ending to it finally. If it's an official release, then uh, I think it'll be a decent AAA title. I just hope they actually, put the real time into it to make sure that after this long of a wait that the game is, good, or I mean not good, but better than good than the predecessors, because to end the trilogy for Half-Life, then you want it to be better than the previous versions of it. You want a good story. How old are you? Your favorite game, your best friend, your real name. Well, how old am I? I'm not as old as dirt, but I'm not as young as a newborn. Favorite game? Every game that's got a good story to it. Like that's the big thing for me. I like games with a good or decent story. Graphics, while I do appreciate them, they're not as important. My real name is Sean, SHAWN. What are your opinions on Bethesda? What are your opinions on Bethesda? I don't know why I try to call it Bethesda, but we're gonna call it Bethesda because that's my opinion of it. Um, they used to do really good work for games and productions and stuff, but I don't know. You don't really hear much about them anymore. Like, they're not as big as big of a name as they used to be. Like, I'm sure there are some games out there that I may or may not have played that people still know them for in recent times, but when I think of them, I think about their older games. Do you think Half-Life will be banned? Hope it doesn't, because I would kill myself. I don't know why Half-Life would be banned. I'm not sure why that would happen or what would have to happen for that to happen, but so yeah, I'm not sure why or how that would come to be. Their grin. What do you think of Star Wars: The Last Jedi? I haven't watched it yet, Miss No Life. I'm hoping it comes out. Well, it may have already. I just haven't looked. But me and my girlfriend were waiting for the 4K release of it. That way we could buy a copy of it. Why do you keep saying Ryan, Grin? My name's Sean, buddy. What would you do if Half-Life was banned from games? What? Not quite sure I'm following where you're trying to go with that, Grin. Yeah, like Miss No Life said, I don't think that it would be banned in a game or a third game of it, or not a third game, fourth or fifth game of it. However many they do it, if they do in episodes again. But I don't think it would be banned. I'm not sure why that would ever happen. Do any of you guys play like Need for Speed or anything like that? Because I'm looking into I watched the trailer for the new Need for Speed that's gonna be coming out, and I haven't made up my mind yet whether I'm interested in it or not. Because I know the last couple Need for Speed games. They've just been eh or bad. What are your thoughts on DLC and microtransaction in games? Well, DLC wise, let's go with the example of Forza Horizon 3. I I paid for the ultimate version when it was still $100 because now if you get the ultimate version, it's cheaper. Which fine, day one access versus now that the game's been out. But if you buy the ultimate version, you should have a car pass that no matter how long it's been since the game's come out, excuse me, no matter how long the game's been out, the car should be included. It shouldn't be done the way they did it where you get a couple of car packs for free, but now the Porsche one and other ones you got to actually pay for extra on top of what you've already paid for. And then DLC for map expansions. Yeah, that didn't come with the ultimate version either. You had to pay extra for the expansion pass, or you had to pay extra for the Blizzard Mountain expansion, and then you had to pay even more for the Hot Wheels track expansion. Which, like I said, if I'm spending the extra money for the ultimate version, it should be included on it. As far as transactions go, AAA titles, no. You know, they have no reason to be transaction based. Now, independent, like smaller companies that are either A, just starting up, or they're independent, so they make games on their own that are not as big and not as fancy. Excuse me. Then yeah, I can definitely understand them having it, but a controllable amount, not like some games where it's a microtransaction if you want to get more lives. Then you got a microtransaction for money because it's nearly impossible to actually earn money in their game. Like if it's just for example, not that it's just a name, Fingersoft or whatever that makes Hill Climb Racing for Android. I don't know if it's on Apple as well, but on Android, Hill Climb Racing, like it's a game where anything you need you can earn in the game. Like if you want to buy money or stuff, you can, but you don't have to. But games that make it so if you don't buy stuff and do microtransactions, you can't ever progress into the game. Like that's absurd. If it's done right, microtransactions can be a plus to a video game. If they're not, then it's a detriment. It just makes the game suck that much more. Fair enough, Mr. No Life. Fair enough. What do I think of Alien movies? Are you talking about the actual Alien movies or just movies that include aliens, Mr. No Life? I'm not sure which one you're thinking about there, Mr. No Life, so I'm just waiting to hear back from you real quick. The Alien franchise. Um, God, I hope I don't get this wrong. Wasn't it Ridley Scott that did the original like Alien movies? Am I remembering that wrong? Let me see. Ridley Ridley Scott, not Wrigley. I don't know why I was calling him Wrigley, but Ridley Scott's Alien movie. I thought that it was pretty damn cool. Like the the action scenes and the way that they did their puppeteering and stuff like that, as well as the movie sets and stuff, were really well done. Excuse me, God, I don't know why I'm coughing so much. But I thought they were really creative and different for their time. Now, if you're talking about the video game, it was a cheap knockoff of just like trying to get a little bit extra money out of the franchise. It was not very good at all. But the movies themselves, they're definitely good. Now, if you ask me between Alien and Predator, which one I prefer more, that's a tough one. Like, they both have, pros and cons. But you can't go wrong when it comes to Arnie going up against the Predator. I mean, that was pretty damn epic. Like, the way they did the storyline, in the back of your mind, you knew, of course, Arnie was going to win. But at the same time, the way they actually did the movie itself, there were times and you're like, damn, he might actually get killed by this thing. I mean, holy shit. So, it was definitely a lot of fun to enjoy both of those. Because they did, like, their own kind of alien storyline a bit differently than each other. But, they were still pretty badass. And then they made a movie of both of them together, and it's like, what? In your opinion, what are the most revolutionary video games ever made? Games that shaped the industry? Well, I would say the granddaddy of, like, game changers was Mortal Kombat. Because before Mortal Kombat, there was no real way of rating a game's violence or anything like that compared to nowadays where you have the ESRB and all that stuff. So I would definitely say Mortal Kombat's on that list. And then, of course, Half-Life, because the physics and the way that they animated faces in its day was a game changer because of how they did it. And then by today's standards, if you go back and look at it, you're like, wow, really? That was a game changer? Looks so bad. But I mean, at the time that it was created, it was awesome. Like, people were mind blown that if I do something with this object, it affects other objects with, physics, or the laws of gravity worked where if I put more weight on this end, then it'll lift up the other end. Stuff like that. So Gary's Mod is a game changer as well because it was one of the first real big mods that took a game's engine that was designed for one thing and just completely rewrote the book on it as far as what you can actually do with the video game engine, aside from what the developers intended it to do. Because, I mean, as far as modding goes, after Gary's Mod came out, then you had people doing game modes, people doing custom props and stuff, and then it transcended into other games where people were now reskinning things or making a whole new game out of what was already there. So I'd say definitely Gary's Mod is something that was a big game changer. As far as first person shooters go, Doom was good at the time, but then the Call of Duty games came out, and I'm talking the original Call of Duty, single player, not multiplayer, but the single player, the action, the cinematics, the gun modelings, and, physics of those. So, definitely a thing like that was, a game changer as well. That's just a few of them. I could go on for a while, but, I don't want to do that. Would I ever do Left 4 Dead or any other co-op game with subs? That's definitely a yes, Mr. No Life. Just like with Portal 2, doing the playthrough with subs. I still have had a few people ask me if I'm gonna ever go back and do Portal 2 to be able to include more subs, and I definitely want to. But right now, like I said, since we went through all the Half-Life games and Portal 1 and 2, just kind of putting them on the back burner for now so we can, enjoy other games. But, uh, see, Left 4 Dead 2, Dead Island 1 and 2, games like that, I think it would be pretty damn fun to, play those kind of games with subs because those require a lot of teamwork, and with two people that can already be tough enough, but between four people, that really adds to it. And then games like Dead Island, uh, it just amplifies it even more because now you're open map and stuff like that. So I definitely think it would be a lot of fun to do. And then also Dying Light. That's a game I haven't played in quite a while, but had a fun as hell time playing it whenever it first came out. So that would be another game that would be a possibility to play with subs. Have ever played any games made by Telltale? I have personally not, but I've watched a lot of other YouTubers playthroughs of it because they do a really good job of taking something and creating their own story with it or side story. And the way they do their animations and their graphics and stuff like that, it's really unique. It's similar to Borderlands in some ways, but it's not. But it's not that I haven't wanted to buy them or haven't wanted to play them. It's just for games like that because they're episodic, where you get a little bit here, then a little bit later, and then a little bit later. It's just I'm the kind of person like when it comes to shows or animes, things like that have a lot of episodes. I prefer to let a season finish and then watch the entire season in one go. Uh, but with some of the Telltale games, it's just better to watch the other people play it, and that way, just like with TV shows and stuff, once they finish the entire playthrough, because all the episodes have come out, you can just sit there, kick back, and binge watch them, which is pretty cool. But definitely a great company. They definitely have put out some really good games. The Crisis games and their effect on PC gaming. Well, the one thing the Crisis games were known for was really pushing the envelope of what PCs can do, like personal computers. Not big like business computers, but personal computer. Um, what it's able to handle. Pushing the limits and the envelope of better graphics, better physics, better what's the word? Particle effects, things like that. And they also had a pretty good story as well. So I would say that overall the impact that the Crisis had on PC gaming was definitely a positive. You could probably put that in with the question earlier about like game changers and stuff. So let's see, what is this? Just looking at something real quick. One moment. There we go. What is the most demanding game you've played on PC? I would say the most demanding game on PC I've ever played at the time, because of what my PC was probably Battlefield 3 with the real life graphics mod on it, which was pretty insane, to say the least. Uh, Trying to think of other games that were demanding at the time. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of a really high demanding game. What is the best graphically console game you've played? Well, the last console game I've played was, I want to say Need for Speed. One of the Need for Speed games and Halo were the last console games, but that was back in 2008, maybe 2000, early 2009. So I can't really, judge those. I think the Halo games had a really great start, and they're really good games. But then it's like stop, just let the Halo series go. Quit trying to rag out more money from it. I mean, I haven't played the most recent Halo games. Like Halo 2 was the last one I played, if I remember right. But at this point, like even not playing the games, just hearing what people are saying about them, so it's just like just let it go, man. The series had its run. It did well. Just let it go out, Quit making new games that are either not that great or not worth the time or the money that was put into them or the price tag that they expect you to pay for them. But I'm not saying that as a diehard Halo fan, so other people might have other opinions about it. But that's just mine. But like I said, I haven't played them since Half-Life 2. I'm just going off of what I've seen said about them and random forums and videos and stuff like that. Uh, I played Batman Arkham City, I believe it was, on Steam, but I haven't played like the rest of the games for it yet. Son of a bitch. Just fucking hit my hand and god damn that hurt like a motherfucker. I'm so used to like out of habit, reaching down with my left hand to um scratch my leg or something like that. I didn't even think about it. Just totally caught the side of my hand on the side of the chair. God damn that hurt like a motherfucker. EA games, I'd say that they've had some pretty good games. Like some of their games, it kind of flip flops. Some of their games are really good, and then they'll have a year of bad games, and then they'll have a year of really good games. So it kind of goes back and forth. So I'm not really sure where I stand with them. It's kind of like playing the lottery. You don't know if it's going to be a good game or if it's going to be a bad game that you get, depending on the year. By the way, Mr. No Life, thanks for coming out to the stream and hanging out and asking questions. Because, like I said, I wanted to make sure that I did stream today, and this was the only way that I knew of, like right away to be able to stream today. So definitely thank you for participating. Because I know I'm looking at the viewer count and people come in and out, but they're not really staying that long. So, you know, makes me, like I said, definitely makes me appreciate having the people in the community that do come and hang out for a while. I don't know when there hasn't been a controversy over video games. Like even the original Pong Pong games and stuff like that, there was controversy over them. I think if we're talking about like the extreme side of video games, like ones that get banned, for example, uh, what's that game, Bully or whatever, that was banned in some countries because they said that it provoked violence and it taught kids to be violent and stuff like that. And when I hear stuff like that, all I can do is just cringe because if a parent cannot teach their child a difference between real life and video games, then they're not doing their job. Or if parents go out and buy a game for their kid that has online access when that game is way too mature for them, that's a fail on the parents as well. Um, Things like that, like, it really annoys me when it comes to controversies over PC versus consoles, Xbox versus PlayStation, Nintendo versus PlayStation and Xbox. This one has better graphics, stuff like that. Like those kind of controversies, I'm impartial. I'm like, it's whatever. Everyone enjoys their own thing, whether it's Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, or some of the small independent companies that tried to pop up here and there that either didn't make it or they sold out. So I played Wolfenstein 3D on my family's old computer and I didn't become a mass murderer. You know? It's just it's a big shock to me that you didn't become a mass murderer because you did that. I am blown away that there are not more kids out there driving cars and running over and people's stuff because they played GTA or Saints Row. Oh my god! Like I grew up playing so many different types of games. Why didn't I turn to a mass murderer or a theft, or not a theft, but a thief, or arsonist or anything like that? Like it's because of the parents. It all goes back to the parents. Like a lot of problems in the world go back to the parents. Racism, that's because their parents taught their parents and their parents, taught them and stuff like that. And no one's realized, hey, I'm not them. You know, let me, break that. Let me not follow the, I guess, tradition of saying, well, we were once slave owners and freed the slaves was wrong, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, there's some things that parents, do that it's okay to not follow in their footsteps. Or, uh, you know, the opposite end where parents, say just because Billy's parents lets him do this or say that doesn't mean you will, because you're going to be respectable. You're going to be respectful of others. You're going to have self dignity, stuff like that. You know what I mean? I hate console and PC fanboys. Just play video games, have fun. That's exactly right. Video games are meant for enjoyment and stuff like that. They're not meant for you to be MLG, esports pro, blah, blah, blah. I'm better than you, blah. No, they're a way for people to escape reality of the real world for just a little bit, to relax their mind, have fun, meet people around the world, have cooperative gameplay where people work together, whereas in the real world, they never would because of where they live and stupid shit like that. Like, just play the game and have fun with it. Who are some of the most motivational people to ever exist, in my opinion? Let's see. Well, number one easily is going to be my mom. She will always be the most influential person to me personally. But if we're talking overall spectrum of the world, I would say people like Albert Einstein or damn, I just forgot his name. what is his freaking name? Bill Nye. Like, he's not as big on a global scale as Einstein and stuff, but me growing up, Bill Nye was kind of the show to watch for people that wanted to learn something, not just watch brain dead, television, whatever, but actually learn something, be involved with it, be able to do, things at home to experiment or play around. And so I always really enjoyed what he did for like kids to get them motivated into doing, doing your own thing. Don't just accept things for what people tell you, go out, find out for yourself, find out through, you know, doing your own research or trying your own experiments out, stuff like that. Uh, Another like big motivational person. Um, I'm saying this not as a positive way, but as a quite a negative way. But he was influential. Like he did change the world. Adolf Hitler, like I said, in a negative standpoint, but at the same time, he did change the world. He opened a lot of people's eyes and made them realize there are evil people out there. Um, you know, not just a person that kills one or two people, but on a global scale, what real evil can be like. Um, and he also, a random fact for people that may not realize it. During World War II and stuff like that, Germany was cut off from Coca Cola, and they created their own soda drinks. And now, here in the U.S., you can actually buy that very same soda drink that was originally created in Germany to supply their German troops with a soda because they were cut off from, people like Pepsi or Coca Cola and stuff like that, which is crazy, but it's a positive thing that came out of a negative thing. If I have a kid, I would name them after a movie or video game character. I actually had a social studies teacher in high school, and I shit you not, his last name is Sky Walter. I was like, why am I thinking of something else? But no, it was Sky Walter, and he named his kid Luke Skywalter. I shit you not. While Luke Skywalker was awesome and stuff in his day, aka the teacher's day when they were younger and stuff, having that name now, probably not the coolest move unless you get a lot of people around you that really like, the movies and stuff. But he actually did that. He named his kid Luke Skywalter, and that was my social studies teacher in high school, so that was crazy. Memes, what's going on, Silky? How you doing, buddy? Am I recovering from a drunk gameplay? No, I didn't really get too drunk the other night. It was more of just a metaphor for abusing the hell out of having powers and stuff in the game. So while I did enjoy some beer and stuff, I didn't really get too drunk or anything like that. I'm sure eventually we're gonna have a drunk stream where I get hammered because maybe there's a drinking game or something like that involved. But mostly, probably not. I'll enjoy beers and stuff on the stream, but I'm not going to get absolutely fucking hammered. Like, there's videos of people on YouTube that were live streaming on Twitch or YouTube that got passed out drunk during a stream. And yeah, I'm not going to be that guy. If we do like a drinking game or something like that, I'm going to have a cutoff point where I'm going to be like, alright, that's enough. We've had fun and stuff like that, but yeah, we're gonna call it there because, I don't want to, get that drunk in the stream. So yeah, why is Gabe such a dick? I have no idea. Could not tell you for the life of me. What is the best video game controller in your opinion? This is gonna sound weird, but the original Nintendo, with all its squared edges and everything, it was a nice, simple layout where your thumbs and everything could get to the buttons very quickly, very easily, and it wasn't a heavy controller. It was light. So if you were playing for extended periods of times, like because during those days with some of those games, or well, actually most of the games, there was not save points. So if the console got turned off, your progress was gone. So you were playing it for a while because you wanted to get further, and then you have to pause the game, turn off the TV, and hope to God nothing happens to the um, hope that nothing happens to the console, like gets kicked or anything like that. So definitely some crazy times. And don't worry, I see the chat. I'm fixing it. Fixing it right now. There we go. Have you gotten a chance to play Prey, the new Prey? No, I have not. I plan to. But that's going to be one of those games where I'm going to play the original Prey and then play the new one. Because, just to see the difference between the two and like the different stories. Why won't you play Half-Life Source Part 2 of it? What do you mean, Grin? I did a complete playthrough of Half-Life Source. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. And no, I don't play Minecraft. It's just I have nothing against it. Power to the people that do play it for their channels and stuff like that, or play it on their own personal time. It's just wasn't really a game for me. It didn't really grab my interest. I don't have anything against people that play it. Like I said, it's just I personally don't play it. So I'm not trying to offend you there, Silky Table. It's just my personal preference is that I don't really enjoy that game. If I could have any weapon from a video game, what would you have? It'd probably be the BFG. Let's be honest. Anyone that knows of the BFG and doesn't want the BFG, something's wrong with them. The BFG is a big freaking gun that's freaking badass. You know what I mean? Yeah, Grin, if you go on my channel to my video playlist, I actually have a playlist there created of the Half-Life Source playthrough. And that way you can watch through that and whatnot. Why does Valve troll you at CSGO? I don't know. I don't play CSGO. That goes back to playing games too much to where I got burned out on them. I played the original Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike Source way too much. And now I look at them and just go, eh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Pretty much, Mr. No Life. Pretty much. I don't know if it's because of that medicine I took earlier or what. Damn, my throat is dry. Why does the game called Jailbreak have even has 70,000 players in it? No idea. I have not personally played the game, so I have no experience with as to why it would have so many people playing it. Favorite kind of food? Sushi. But it can't be like Food Lion brand or, cheap store-bought. It's got to be legit sushi. And the reason I say that is because that's one of the very few things I'm like really picky about. Like, if it's cheap sushi, then I think it's disgusting. Only because when I lived in Japan, I used to eat like real sushi there, and so when you come back home and you eat like the cheap shit, it's just like ugh, it's nasty. But there is a place about 40 minutes from me. Well, actually, there's two places. There's one that's about 20 minutes from me, and there's one about 40 minutes from me that me and my girlfriend go to, And like for their lunch specials, it's all you can eat sushi buffet for like $10. And you know, for that price, you cannot beat it. I mean, they've got really good sushi, and they're always packed because it's so cheap, and they have really damn good sushi. Like, um, those two places are freaking amazing. The one is pure sushi, like they only do sushi like cold sushi or hot sushi, and then they have like different kind of desserts and stuff. And then the other one, the other restaurant, it's a buffet where it's primarily sushi, but then they also have like a side section of foods from around the world, so you can try stuff from India or try things, you know, from different parts of the U.S. that you may have never heard of or had. Uh, but it's really awesome because like they'll take the time to put like uh, little like flag stands, like little miniature ones. I think they're about 5 inches tall, but they'll put it like over different sections, so you can try like different things from around the world. And if you don't know the flag, you can always look it up and learn where that food actually came from. So it's really cool. Let's see. Why is the world being ruined? I have no idea, man. If I did, I would pee at night of being scared. Fair enough there, Grin. Fair enough. Would I rather be strong but have no smarts, or be limp, not being able to move but be incredibly smart? Just because you're physically not strong doesn't mean you can't be mentally strong. And just because you're mentally strong doesn't mean that you can't be physically strong. So I don't really know which way I'd go with that. I'd like to be kind of average strength and average, you know, or above average smart, or average smart but above average in strength. Just because, you know, each thing has its own abilities, I guess you could call it. But I wouldn't want to be the complete, you know, be completely smart but can't move, uh, or be really strong and just be really dumb. Like I wouldn't want to do that. I think psychological horror is the best kind of horror. I like I like different kinds of horror, whether it's just plain, you know, stupid, you know, just simple jump scares, or the big climactic, you know, scare that the story's leading up to, or a horror film that makes you think and ponder about things. So, why do I have a B at math? Well, Grin, you can't be good at everything. The best you can do is try to learn as much as you can about everything that you can. So, it's always a good goal to set. Just realize you can't be perfect at everything. It's just not possible. Would you rather burn or drown? Uh, I would rather drown because I don't have a fear of water, and I would, you know, I wouldn't really. I don't. Trying to think of how to explain this. Like, I would prefer to drown than I would be burned, but I'm trying. I don't really know how to explain why. It's just my personal choice. Exactly, you'd basically be Steven if you were really smart but couldn't move. Would I rather fight a bear or a shark? Um, I would say in either case, I'd probably try to get the fuck out of Dodge. A bear, it's easier to get away from than a shark because we're naturally not in the water, so we can't swim away very quickly. Unless you have like an underwater harpoon or something like that, you virtually have no chance against the shark. With the bear, you can at least run or do something to defend yourself. So I'm gonna go with the bear, just because. Do you watch Angry Video Game Nerd? Can't say that I have, Mr. No Life. Would you rather piss off a horde of bulls or piss off the USSR? I'd probably go with the USSR just for the challenge. You know, just for the challenge, you know. Do 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 do. Sorry about that. I was looking at a notification that popped up on Twitter. Mr. Nola, Sean Cool 90. Hope your hand gets better. Appreciate it, man. It will. It's just gonna take time. So I'm just glad it wasn't worse, like my actual hand getting crushed or anything like that, or losing a finger. Would you rather Sean kill a 90 or Sean kill a 90? I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I say that's a tie right there, an even draw. Would you rather fight 100,000 demons or 100,000 zombies? Why can't they be zombies? Get it? Zombies. If you get that Half-Life reference, the Half-Life reference, good on you. Hey, my neighbor's deciding to weed eat. Yay! So if you guys hear it, sorry. They were mowing earlier, which was why I started the stream just a couple minutes after 2, because I was hoping they would finish up. But now apparently they want to weed eat, so if you hear it, sorry. I don't think it's too loud right now, so hopefully you won't hear it. Oh my god, why am I talking about it? I don't know. You made me scared. I'm sorry, man. Didn't mean to scare you, buddy. It was never my intention. My intentions were good. Oh. Have I ever told you guys how much my hand fucking hurts? And I have to wait. What time is it? 3:16. I have to wait another 40 minutes before I can take another pill. God damn, this shit fucking hurts. Ultimate Tutorials and Gaming TNG. What's going on? Good to see you, buddy. How you doing? How you been? We're just kicking back, relaxing, doing some question and answers because I can't play video games right now. If you go back and watch the beginning of the stream, you'll hear about why I can't. But yeah. So I just wanted to make sure I did get a stream out today, since I said I was going to do it Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Just to repeat, guys, if you guys play video games that aren't, I mean, not video games, but if you play like mobile games that are, more of like single finger use and stuff like that, I have a Android emulator on my computer so I can download mobile games and play them. And maybe we'll do something like that Wednesday or Thursdays, but make sure that you follow me on Twitter so that you can actually send me some ideas for video games like that for mobile phones, and that way we can do something like that Wednesday or Thursday and be able to play them there. What do you think about games from the 90s getting awesome modern day games like Doom? Oh, random yawn. Sorry about that. What do you think about games from the 90s getting awesome modern day games like Doom, Wolfenstein, Mortal Kombat? It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing because Doom, for example, or Duke Nukem, like back in their day, they were the shit. They were badass, and then now some of the releases for the remakes and stuff were just god awful. Like especially Duke Nukem, like everyone was excited for that game's finally coming out. Blah blah blah, and it was an utter pile of garbage. So it's kind of 50-50 of whether it's good or not to do that. Would you rather fight Nililith in real life or fight a big army of combines or fight Barney? I'd fight Barney. And not Barney from Half-Life, Barney from the TV show, because I hated that shit as a kid. Because I was forced to watch it by the babysitter and stuff like that, and I absolutely hated it. Hated that fucking show. Sorry, Grant, I couldn't ignore it. It was there, I took that option. Would you rather take a dump in a very trashy and ugly bathroom or on a sink? Man, if I go into a bathroom and it's got a clean ass sink, but the fucking commode and shit is disgusting as fuck, and I gotta go, like there is no waiting, and there's a lock on that door, you goddamn better believe I'm gonna take a shit in that sink. I'm gonna be very regretful and sorry that I did it, because someone else or myself was gonna have to clean it up. But fuck sitting on a nasty ass commode. And I ain't about to do the fucking hover shit over it, you know, where you sit and float 2 or 3 inches off the seat. That ain't gonna fly. That is not gonna work. Let's see. I recommend the Impossible game. It only requires one finger. I'd have to look into it. Like I said, Barney in Half-Life, not a bad guy. Except for the fact he still owes us a goddamn beer that we've been waiting years for. Barney, the show, is a pure, ugly, annoying, purple fucking knockoff dinosaur. Oh, you better believe it, Mr. No Life. Like, if I had the ability to go back in time and jump onto the set, I would do something so that show was not on TV anymore. I wouldn't kill the guy that's playing Barney. I mean, that's just cruel. But I would definitely try to find the Barney suit that he wears and just completely demolish it. Like, take it out back, burn it, paint it, vandalize it, do something so they could not use it. And if they try to get another suit, I'd do it again and again and again until they're just like, fuck it, take the show off the air, we're done. And I'd been just fine. Alright, Stilky, thanks for coming out, man. I'll catch you later, buddy. I would drink piss before watching that. I feel you there, but, you know. In a worst case scenario, you can actually drink your piss a few times and be okay. Barney, that's cancer for life. That will scar you forever. Favorite kind of music is every kind of music that has, you know, more than just cussing in it, more than just ass or titties in it. Because while those things are good, you know, a song that just sits there and repeats itself and talks about the same old shit over and over and over, not really worth listening to. And I don't mean that to just rap. I'm talking about every genre. There's some that they just talk about one thing the entire song instead of like a musical story that's being put onto a song. Alan Walker Fade, Sing Me to Sleep Alone. I don't know if I've heard that song. Have I watched Doctor Who? No, I have not. My girlfriend loves the fuck out of that show, but it just never grabbed my interest for whatever reason. Couldn't tell you why, I just didn't. Just the way it is, I guess. Just the way it is. And that's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. I'll definitely look it up there, Grin. I'll look them up later today or sometime and listen to a few of their songs, see what I think. Got to go for 10 minutes. Alright, Grin. No problem. What do I think about Street Fighter? Are we talking about the video game or talking about the movie? Because if we're talking about the movie, I'd rather watch Barney, and I fucking hate Barney. But the games are good. The movie, not so much. That was one of those things where it was just better off being a game and not turn it into a movie. It was absolutely horrible. Like, ugh. It's like the Mortal Kombat movies. They should never have existed. The little miniseries that was on YouTube for Mortal Kombat, that was good. That was a good adaptation of video games to a show or whatever. But the movies for Mortal Kombat were just horrible. What were some of my favorite games growing up? Let's see. I'm trying to think of it. I don't remember. The name that's coming to my mind is like Ninja Gaiden, but I don't remember if there was a version of that or the original one if it was out on the Nintendo or Super Nintendo. There was some kind of like ninja game that I played on those two consoles that was pretty awesome because it was definitely hard as hell. Uh, Trying to think of other games. The original like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. Used to love playing that. Let's see, the Doom movie. 20 puppies die every time you mention it. I don't know. The Doom movie was not as bad as the Street Fighter movie, Mr. No Life. If you've never seen the Street Fighter movie, get it, watch it, hate me for making you watch it. Telling you, you would rather watch Doom with The Rock than watch that movie ever again. It was so bad. Have I played Deus Ex? That is another game that, when it first came out, I wanted to play, and then, well, I found out that it wasn't that good, or just never had time to actually play it, so... What do you think, Mr. No Life, since you're here, what do you think of this idea for Wednesday and Thursday? Uh, it literally just crossed my mind because I was sitting there thinking about it again for like mobile games. What if we do like a random mobile game that has ads on it? And then when it says, you should play this game, we go to that game, play it, see how good or bad it is, and then the next game it pops up in an ad, we go and play that game. Just kind of like rope random games back and back to back of whether they're good or bad, just absolutely random games. That way there's no set game that we play the entire time. We just play games for a little bit, get a feel, and then move on to the next one. Like I'm thinking that might be fun to do. Would be different. Just have to figure out like the initial game to play. What message is this? Don't need it. What you just heard was my Skype closing. Because I had a random pop up from it. That way it doesn't pop up anymore. Where's this thing at? Welcome back there, Grin. Welcome back. By the way, how many hours do you have now, Mr. No Life? I know you're over 24, which is absolutely mind blowing that you've had over a day's worth of time uh, in the live streams. Like that's insane. Blows my mind. Sean replied to me through the comments. What do you mean? Did you leave a comment somewhere that I did not see? Oh, you didn't get the you haven't broken the 25 yet, but you will soon as cuz we're just under an hour and a half, so you should be getting the 25th hour here soon. My favorite car, a 93 to 95 Dodge Viper, dark midnight blue with the double silver racing stripes down the middle, with the V10 full Borla exhaust, and as far as the rims go, I'd want them the stock rims because the old Viper rims, the original manufacturer ones, just are incredibly unique. Like they have their own look to them and stuff. And always that's probably always been my favorite car. Another car that I really liked as a kid is the Plymouth Prowler. It's completely unique, but it almost like a throwback to the old hot rods and rat rods and stuff like that. Like I've seen paint jobs and stuff that people have done with the Plymouth Prowler, and they make it look like an old hot rod, and it looks really awesome. What car do I have right now? I have a 1994 240SX, and I have a 2005 Jeep Wrangler Sport. So a little bit of two complete opposite ends because the one's for uh, one's for like off-roading and trail rides and stuff like that, and then the other one is for going to the tracks and stuff like that and the daily. So sure, what is your current car there, Grin? What is your current car? Sorry, Mr. No Life. I had to do that real quick. What's your current car there, Grin? You can't drive a smile. You can drive while having a smile, but you can't drive a smile. What's wrong, Grin? You don't want to tell me your car? It's fine if you don't. Or if you don't have a car, or if you're too young to have a car. What do you think about the Game Boy? I remember when my brother had one, and I would be jealous because on long journeys I would have nothing to do while he was playing Game Boy games right next to me. Me and my sister both had a Game Boy because my grandparents every year we'd go to the beach like two or three times, and we would always we'd have our Game Boys, our games. I remember we had me and her both had it was like a little clip on like magnifying screen. Like if you imagine holding the Game Boy vertically, it would clip down onto the top, and then you would fold the magnifying glass down, and then built into it was little lights, so at night you could see what you were playing if it was dark. And my sister broke her light. And usually when we'd go to the beach, my grandparents would do an overnight. That way, come morning, because me and my sister would eventually fall asleep on the drive there, we would be awake and ready to go. And usually, since it was my papa that drove, or granddad for people that don't say papa or papa or whatever, um, since usually it was the one that drove us, he would, go to the room and sleep while my grandma would take us out to the beach and stuff like that. But going back to driving at night, my sister broke her light, and she would get so pissed because I wouldn't take turns with her using mine. And I remember one time she was getting really mad and yelling and stuff at me just for me to share it. And my granddad, he looked back, but still paying attention to the road. He looked back and was like, either save up your money from chores and buy a new one, or learn to take better care of your stuff. Like, that was roughly what he said. Because I was young, so I don't remember exactly how he said it, but that was basically what he implied. And I always remember just playing my game, and I had the biggest cheesy smile on my face, saying, "Yeah." So it was definitely really cool. That was I made my sister jealous in my own way with the Game Boy, so it's kind of funny. My car is a Mercedes-Benz 1992 1.8. Total of 2,072 634 kilometers. I'm going to buy a Golf Terrain this summer. Nice. What are my thoughts on the recent attacks in England? If I had the opportunity to walk up to those fucking cowards and punch them straight in the jaw until they were knocked unconscious, and then I'd continue to kick them because they're fucking cowards, that's what I would do. Anyone outside of a war zone that would just bomb an area where there are families and stuff like that are fucking pathetic, and they're cowards. Like, that kind of shit pisses me off so much. I can't understand or even try to wrap my mind around what makes them think that is something okay to do. Because, I mean, if you're in the military and you're in a war zone, I'm not saying it's okay to just bomb someone's house or anything like that for the hell of it. But at least there's a general reason that you're doing something. Which, I'm not defending the military of any country saying it's okay to bomb something or a city or anything like that because it's wartime. I'm just saying that, like, at least you're not being a coward. If you throw a grenade or something like that, there's a reason you're doing it. But just to go to a concert, or like in the U.S. A while back when the guy went into the Batman theater or whatever, it was either Batman or Superman. I think it was Batman though, and just shoot up the place. That's a fucking coward. That's a pathetic waste of space, of oxygen, a bad gene in the human genome. People like that just piss me off. Point, really simple. Oh, it was very bad. Too bad for those that were there. You're damn right. It really does suck. It's like a while back at the I don't know if it was just like a run charity event or a triathlon or something like that, but it was something where they were running through the city, like it was a race. People were running and stuff for a race, but the bombs that went off on the side of the road and stuff like that. Like, it's just one of those things. It's like, you're a fucking coward to do something like that. But we're gonna stop talking about that now, or I'm just gonna get really pissed off and annoyed. So what's the next question? What's the next question? Do, 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 do. If you've got any more questions, make sure that you put them out now. Because, like I said, here soon I'm going to have to be ending the stream. That way I can eat some food real quick before I take this medicine. Because, yeah, my hand is fucking killing me. Even though I'm, like, literally leaning back in my chair and it's just resting on my chest, it's still... God, it hurts like a motherfucker. I wish, like, they gave me some needles of shit to numb it. That way I could just directly numb the shit, like... But what can you do? Any embarrassing stories that I care to tell? I'm not one to get embarrassed easily. I never really have. I usually just laugh stuff off. So I don't really know of anything off the top of my head that would be considered embarrassing. Like, I'm the kind of person, um, as a kid or even a teenager, and I'd probably still do it now. Like, if I'm walking in the mall and I see someone walking with a really serious face, I'd run up to them and make a really weird, goofy face, make some random weird ass noise, stare them dead in the eye while I'm doing it, and then just make a completely straight face and just walk away. Like, I'm that outgoing and, you know, hard to embarrass that doing something like that, that's nothing for me. Or, like with, when I was younger and we used to go to, like, Halloween parties and stuff like that, I'd just wear, like, the absolutely weirdest shit, uh, and just have fun with it. Because, you know, why not? My dad raced with the golf too. Ooh. What kind of racing did he do? Did he, like, actually do track racing, or was it street racing? Oh, I missed the part where you said he raced it today. So yeah, probably on the streets. Well, tell me about it, Grin. What happened? Why was it so hilarious? Was it just like completely one-sided where he completely beat him, or was it neck and neck and then your dad lost and got mad, or did your dad lose really badly and get mad, or what happened? What made it so hilarious? Tell us all the juicy details. One time got scared by a rabbit jumping towards me being cute. Oh, that I just thought of something. Embarrassing story. Here we go. And the reason it was embarrassing was because of my own stupidity. When I was younger, me and some friends, our parents took us to a petting zoo together. And I mean, it's kind of their fault, but it's kind of my own fault as well. Because you go down like a line and through like a little path where you go through different, areas with different, pets that you can pet and different animals and stuff like that. And off to the side, I noticed that there was a donkey. I was like, "Oh, a donkey!" So I went over to the fence and climbed up on it so I could reach over. And I mean, that motherfucker, he went chomp, like through the fence at my stomach. Like I still have like really small scars now, but I still have scars from where his teeth caught my stomach a bit. And here's why I say it was their fault and kind of my own fault. There was a sign that said, "Do not pet or do not reach in, donkey will bite." And the reason I remember that sign so very well is because my sister rubbed it in my face for ages about being bit on the stomach by a donkey. Now, the reason I say it was the zoo's fault is because the sign was partially covered. Well, I say partially, I mean like half of it was covered. And they had like vines or something growing up a fence around the sign. And so the vines, because they hadn't been trimmed back, were covering up the sign a bit. So unless you knew to look, you wouldn't see it. So that's why I say it was the zoo's fault and it was my fault because I wasn't paying attention. And so it was my own stupidity and stuff. So yeah, that's an embarrassing story for you. I've gotten bit by a donkey when I was a kid. Straight race. Okay, so my dad saw him. No, he said one race, and my dad was like, "Bring it on." And then he said, "Okay, if I win, I get $100. If I lose, I give you $100." And my dad said, "Deal." And they started racing. Nice. By the way, I told your joke about the 3 men on a plane to all my friends. What'd they think about it, Mr. No Life? Did they enjoy that joke? I mean, I remember he asked me for a joke, and that was one I knew. So at the start it was good, and he said "fuck you." And my dad got angry, and the car was going really fast, and he won at the end, and he won the $100. And he said, "LOL, wrecked, motherfucker." Get wrecked, motherfucker. Give me that $100. Nice. Finn, the end. Oh man. But I think that's gonna do it, guys. We've been streaming for about an hour and 45, and it is 13 minutes till 4 for me. So that gives me enough time to make some quick food and then take this pill, which is probably going to knock me on my ass, but I'm okay with that. Because I can't take it on an empty stomach. But to everybody that did come out and did ask questions and took part in the chat, thank you as always. I do appreciate it. But as always, guys, no matter where you are across the world, morning, afternoon, or evening, this is Sean Killer 90, and I hope you take care. Peace.